Dr. Jazz.
Hey guys,
Dr.
Samo here.
Jazz.
Thanks for checking out the channel and its contents. And if you feel like it, please do subscribe. Thanks so much. Enjoy the video. Bye. And thanks for finding your time. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate being asked to speak. Thank
Um,
you.
I have you on so many records.
I've seen some of your shows, so it's
Yeah,
cool.
I've done talks with so many guys you played with. So like most recently, I did it with Cindy Blackman. And
Oh, the
obviously you
chief.
played with Cindy a long time, and
Yeah,
wanna
yeah,
wanna go there a bit also. But
yeah.
I want to start this talk with love letters. Or first, I want to start this talk by asking you if Love Letters was the last album, and I really love it because you chose some beautiful, not so known ballads like that usually people play, like the first. Uh,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I really like that. But have you been preparing otherwise something new, like on the band leading department for this year, or?
yeah. I recently did a recording in where did we record in Rabat, Morocco,
Wow,
with the Ganawa musician and some musicians from Europe. So that was a blast. That was a lot of fun.
wow,
And I imagine that should be coming out sometime this year. We're mixing and mastering it now,
wow.
and trying to
Good.
find titles for it.
Is it your
But
music, or did you guys like kind of improvise and?
uh, I, you know, I brought in some sketches.
Okay,
It was the first time I had worked with a Gimbre,
yeah.
so I had to figure out how to incorporate that situation into it, and it was a great lesson. So we kind of had to build a song within a song, you know. So yeah, that was a blast. That was one of the best recording sessions in terms of people that I didn't know and never worked with, and getting to
Beautiful.
know them, figuring out what could we bring from that person's point of view and this person's point of view in terms of where they grew up and things like that. So it wasn't necessarily a straight ahead from the United
Yeah.
States situation. It was from all over, but we all had a connection to the continent, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah, so
So,
it's going to be a different record than we're used to from you, kind of integrating something completely new in a sense. Or
well, I don't know. I have a thing with the word new.
I mean,
I
new.
know,
You,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you know what
It's,
I mean.
it's
Like,
maybe it's a step in a
yeah,
direction. I imagine. I like to think of it like that. I don't want to consciously, man, I got to do something new. Got to do
no, no,
something
no. I
new.
know it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you want to just take steps into a universal one.
yeah.
And that's it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, and I
Good.
love my work though. I had Fortunately enough, I was able to spend some time there, quite a bit of time in Tangier actually.
Yeah,
So I know a little bit about the country, and the people are wonderful.
yeah.
To record there was pretty amazing. You know.
And the food, man. Ooh,
Yeah, yeah, right.
yeah. That
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the food is like killing. But yeah, uh,
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you a bit about love letters also. I mean, I mentioned
Okay.
it before. Such a beautiful album, like just the way you approach the ballads. I mean, I always loved that with your playing, even if we go back to the early stuff. And this one is so special. Like I said, you chose some tunes that are not so known, and
Mhm.
yet the melodies are so good, that I got along without you very well. Like, I mean, that's such a nice tune by Hoagie
Yeah.
Carmichael, but it's fairly
Yeah.
unknown, right? Like, how did you decide which tunes to play on that record, actually?
Well, I love the lyrics. I think for a lot of it was basically, I'm familiar with the lyrics, so
Mm,
and a lot of the lyrics they ring true to me. At this point in my life. I mean, I get along without you. I mean, you don't even need the solo on that. You can just play the melody. But when you know the words, it's really even more. has more of a meaning. So I just tried to play things that I could identify with in a sense. You know,
Mm.
so those tunes happen to do that. Even my buddy,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
good, all of them, So it was as simple as that. I really dig the lyrics.
mm. Yeah, yeah. It's so important.
Yeah, the lyrics cool, really happy.
Yeah. Yeah, because so
Yeah.
many of the elders, right? They actually knew lyrics of the standards. Like now, I mean, the younger generation kind of, it's like, yeah, no one
Yeah.
even knows probably half of the people that there were lyrics to all of these songs actually. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Well, I would hope that it rings true for people that might come across the lyrics. I guess that subject is pretty. Well, I hope it is pretty universal.
yeah,
Love, wanting, love, celebration of love, or friendship. So I think, yeah, if they come across the lyrics, I think it would ring true at some point in life. I imagine. I hope so.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
at this point, they ring true for me. Yeah.
yeah. What did excite you in the beginning? I mean, you're coming from Detroit, right? So,
Mhm.
and how did you get involved in jazz? I mean, I know quite some players from Detroit who are amazing and are playing all over the world now, and the jazz scene has been so strong, I think, still. And what was the first trigger for you that you
Oh, for
said like,
me,
oh shit, yeah, like, oh jazz, man? Did you have like a moment that you heard someone or something that?
what was it? Well, I have an aunt who she called it progressive music. Before I knew of it as jazz, I was told that's called progressive music.
Okay.
But I was fascinated with that. I think in terms of the first artist that I heard that I resonated with would have been Albert Eiler,
Ooh, okay.
Ghost.
Wow,
You
oh
know,
man, yeah.
that recording. And I think at that point in time, with you like 14, 15, it had everything. What I thought was, it probably would have been that or punk rock or something.
Yeah.
And I thought that that's something that I can immediately do. So I could do that. Now that I'm older, I know it's a bit more intricate, and you listen back, like, Albert Ayler's vibrato, the way compositions he wrote, kind of hymn-like, march-like things. Like, not
The melody.
but in terms of just something that grabbed me right away, I think it was Albert Ayler. And then, fortunate enough, I grew up in Detroit, so I used to take lessons from James Carter,
Wow, okay.
which is really instrumental. Another great saxophonist, Alex Harding,
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
then yeah. I mean, those guys were my teachers. They used to pick me up and after school and give me free lessons and we would listen to music. And I started listening to what they were into. So they were into Albert Ayler, Train, Dexter, and Frank Zappa, and all
Sure.
kinds. Yeah. I had to listen. And some of the lessons would be just listening, to everything, not just. But Albert Ayler was the one that touched me first. And I still love Albert
Oh,
Ayler.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was it. And then,
Interesting. Oh,
as you get older, you come across other people that are into. Take it like this. So like in Detroit at that time, going to a jam session, it could be at that time it was like you would see a cat. They would play so-called no changes or out, and then they would turn around and play bebop. So I thought that's what jazz was until I got to New York. What that is jazz, but in New York, the lines were at that time were a bit more defined.
yep.
We had to be either or. But growing up, it was like that can happen on a stage. The guy would play with no changes and then play changes. So. But when I got to New York, I had to eat, so I had to figure out like, okay, I need to learn. I need to focus on this because this is where I'm making the money.
Yeah.
So I think that's how it started for me. Which
Interesting.
I'm about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. Like when I do these interviews, like like hardly anyone mentioned Albert Eiler as the first kind of. I mean, like obviously people mentioned him later, but
Yeah.
the first like trigger, really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, well, you have my teachers at the time, there was no separation in terms of expression,
Yeah,
which is beautiful. And, I try to retain that. Listen and the intent. They just wanted me to try to learn how to be expressive,
it's so important. Yeah,
learn the changes, learn the rules, and then learn before you break the rules, learn the rules, break the rules, and then learn the rules. Just all options are viable.
yeah.
I had some great teachers, man. I was very fortunate. And they didn't charge me a dime, man. It was cool. They would pick. They were just big brothers. They would pick me up after school, or
They were slightly
sometimes
older, right? James and Alex, actually, they are slightly
they
older.
were 4 years older than me. But when you're 14,
Yeah,
13, 14, that's a big deal. Now it's like, all right. But at the time, it was like, they would pick me up after
yeah.
school. I would spend the weekend at James' house or Alex's house, take me to the movies. They would go practice. Or sometimes they would call me like they had permission to call me anytime they want. So James used to call me sometimes at 2 in the morning, and he wouldn't say nothing. He would play some music, and I had to identify who he was playing on the phone. He was like, "Who is this?" And I had to listen, and I had to identify it, and it would be like Frank Lowe
Ooh,
or the world saxophone or David Murray, and then some days it would be Johnny Hodges, John Coltrane, Dexter Gordon, Wardell Gray. It would be like this
diverse.
all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff. So that was cool. And they didn't charge me any money, man. I couldn't afford to pay them anyway. It was such a beautiful thing to do for a younger person.
yeah,
But yeah, they were like 18, 19 years old. They were already working.
yeah, yeah.
And
Of course. Yeah.
they took an interest in me. Really grateful.
Interesting. Did those guys motivate you to move to New York? I mean, what was the main trigger actually that you said like, okay, I want to go?
For New York, for me,
Yeah.
well, a lot of my friends. I grew up with a drummer named Ali Jackson.
Sure.
We had a young band, and a lot of them moved to New York. So I just hopped on the bus and came also. I got to New York around, I was like 20 or 21. Betty Carter actually brought me to New York officially.
Oh, really? Oh man, how did that happen? How did you get the gig with Betty?
That was crazy in a beautiful way. I went to school for about a couple of years, a year and a half. I went to a HBCU in West Virginia called Hampton University, and I left school and I joined the Army. And I took the physical, I did everything, and then you're supposed to take 2 oaths, but I didn't do that. And a friend of mine said, "Hey man, he wanted me to play on a tape. At that time, it was a tape. He was auditioning for Betty Carter's Jazz Ahead program, and I was on a tape. I wasn't auditioning for it, so he sent it in. He got it, and Betty Carter said, "The guy who plays saxophone, tell him I want him to come also." That's
Ooh,
I got it like that. So they sent me a ticket and brought me to New York, and I did the
wow,
program. And then she asked if I could stay on and play, a
wow,
year and a half, year or two with her. So yeah, it happened like that. I just so happened I was on someone's audition tape, and she
wow.
she asked me to come also. That's how I got there. Other than I was headed off to becoming a sergeant or something.
Man,
I did it.
that's crazy, man.
Yeah. So it flipped like that. So I was like, all right, cool, give
Wow.
it a shot, And then I went on and played with other people. But
Yeah, yeah.
that
Obviously.
was
Yeah.
officially.
How was Betty like to you guys? Because she was famous of being quite strict towards younger guys, but kind of always saying, like Clarence Penn told me, like he played with Betty quite a lot, and she was like, "Yeah, just be you," and but like really a really fair but strict band leader. I mean, what was your experience with her?
It was it was amazing. Yeah, it was. at that time, the leaders were a bit more vocal, you know, and she didn't tell any lie. You know, everything she said was maybe sometimes it was kind of hard to hear at that age.
Yep.
The delivery was a little more immediate, which I appreciate now, you know, even more. But I always saw it as love. I always saw it as something that now that I'm younger, I appreciate that she said a lot of things, even playing the ballads. You know, like I thought of her. She always talked about make love in a sense of really improving what you plan and sound and approach, timing, you know, taking your time, you know, things like that. A lot of things I got from her. And like seeing her as a band leader was really amazing. The way she led the band. She wasn't afraid to ask for what she wanted.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience. One of many, you know, that was my first high profile situation.
Big gig, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah, it was tough, but I can handle it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Some other things, so that was a lot easier than maybe what was going to happen. So I can handle it. I mean, I'm from Detroit also, so I understood the delivery. You know, I got it. You know.
Was without gloves. Now it's like everyone is so careful, you know, like, oh, can you please just maybe try the bridge a bit, you
Yeah,
know, like,
that's cool too. You know, I mean,
yeah,
'cause
absolutely.
I think my generation was the last of the apprenticeship type
Yes,
situation. I
yes,
think a lot of the younger people go to school and they play with their peers, which is great, you know. So I think now being more mindful of how you enter someone's
yeah,
space, that's a positive thing, you
it
know.
is, yeah,
Yeah,
it is,
that's
yeah.
positive. Yeah, but the other way was cool too, you
Oh
know.
man, you got the chance to play with the elders. I mean, with the guys who invented the music, you know.
And sometimes you gotta, you know, if you do it with love, if you let people know, hey, you know, I'm saying this, and you know, then it usually works out okay. But back then it was like, nah, you know, they tell you right on the stage, and you had to deal with it, you know, and you had
Yeah,
to tell you, hey, I got to deal with it. You know?
but that's the best school, actually. That's more like a university, you know. One tour with Betty Carter, that's like, you know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
BA in jazz or something, you know.
yeah. Seeing her work
Yeah,
and handle business. Choice of songs and her idea of pushing the idea of writing your own music.
yeah,
That was a thing. And I met a lot of people like such as Clarence. Clarence is from Detroit also, but
yeah, exactly.
I didn't know him in Detroit. I wasn't aware of him until I got to New York because he had left already. But yeah, that's a nice. A lot of people came through Betty Carter. You know,
Yeah. D
so,
did you immediately then, when you moved to New York, started to get gigs, or like how did that happen besides Betty? I mean, what?
oh no, not for me. That didn't go like that. I mean, I got gigs. I had a lot of opportunities at the time. I didn't take full advantage of. I jobbed around like everyone
Sure.
else. Yeah, you know, I was in a few bands. You know, after her, I went to Wallace Roney for a little bit. And then I went. He fired me, and I went back to Betty. Then I went to Bernard Harper for a while. Played with Cindy.
Yeah.
For a long time. Little bit of Jerry. You know, so you start playing around after a while, you know. But it was, I think it was a few more bands back then that you could probably get involved with. Yeah. So I did my journeyman travel also, you
Yeah.
know. I was fun.
Yeah. Because it's funny. I mean, funny like because the elders were still alive, right, and playing.
Mhm,
Basically, you know, Art Blakey basically was still there. Elvin Jones, all these great drummers who hired young people,
mhm.
and the
Yeah,
saxophone players like your generation is incredible. If I think about your generation of saxophone players, like 3 years plus minus, that's like,
yeah.
dude.
I think my generation, I caught I was able to see some of the masters, but I think the advantage point that people in my class had, that we were able to play with people who actually played with the masters. You know, so yeah, like you take like drummers. Bernard Harper was close
Oh, yeah.
with Mr. Billy Higgins. I had a chance to meet him.
Ooh.
And then obviously Art Blakey was definitely, and even with Cindy Blackman, you know, Art Blakey,
Yeah, that's them. Yeah.
Tony Williams, Max Roach, you know, so, and people that they had played with. And so I was able to probably get a hold of some direct information that they got. Even with Betty Carter, I remember she talked about Charlie Parker, the way Charlie Parker would practice. She said he would play triads, and you know, and I was like, so you know, you're in touch with people who actually met the people that you admire, you know. So I was able to be a part of it. You
It's great. Yeah.
know. I mean, you learn from everybody. I learned from younger people. You learn from friends who play. I had a good friend who started playing with Branford Marsalis, who's
Mm.
another mentor of mine who was very instrumental. And still, I think I can call him up and ask him a question. I haven't checked in with him in a while, but sometimes when I check in with him, he gives me information, you know. But you have friends who play with people, and if you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get a good, you say, hey man, what are they doing? And a good friend would sit down, so okay, we're doing this, and then you learn, you know. So you know, everyone's your teacher,
Yeah.
even at this point. That's how I try to look at it. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still some masters walking around, you know, that I was
Yeah.
able to come in contact with, fortunately.
Yeah. What was it easier in a sense, like the early 90s, if you think about it? I mean, because there were so many clubs, right? Open. I mean, I remember when I went to New York the first time, like 96,
Mhm.
I think it was like tons of small clubs and all the big clubs were open. I mean, there must have been a lot of gigs, right? Compared to later or
Yeah, there was a lot more gigs. Was it easier? Um,
yeah, I mean, that's a stupid question probably.
it's a thing, it's a stupid question. No, it's just making me look at my mind. I for me, it wasn't easy. I mean, I think at that time, I remember someone told me there were like at least 72,000 musicians in New York City. You know, so was it easier? Uh, nah, I mean, people were going for the gigs. You know, like I would go to a gig, and sometimes, depending on who I was playing with, you'd be like three or four saxophone players out there, friends who were trying to get the gig you had.
Yeah,
So it was probably a bit more competitive. Whereas now, I think it's more like, at least from what I think, you go to a school and you
yeah,
form relationships like that.
yeah,
And then they leave school and you have your connections. At that time, school was going on, but you formed the connections by the circles you ran in,
exactly.
being in New York City, you know. So, but no, it was tough. I think it still is tough. Maybe it's a bit more harder now. I
Yeah, I
think.
would even say so. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it looks like you have to start your own thing right away, whereas then it was you had to apprentice with someone to be like when I remember I went to a jam, like you would go to a jam session, and the jam sessions were different. At that time, it wasn't. I think they just started kind of doing the sign ups where you go sign up and then you go play. At that time, when I got there, at least my experience was people would ask you, "Who do you play with?"
mm,
And if they didn't know you, you had to wait to the end of the gig, and then the last couple of tunes they would invite you up because the bands would be playing not necessarily jam sessions; they would play their book.
oh yeah,
And the cast would say like, "Well, we don't want to lose our gig. If we sound bad, we might lose our gig. So let's wait to the end." And then you had to kind of audition to be able to come and jam.
wow,
You know, but they would say like, who are you playing with? Like they had to know somebody that was, and then if all right, come in and play. It wasn't like everybody could get up and play.
yeah, yeah,
You had to kind of prove yourself if it was cool for you to hang out. You know,
interesting.
I
Yeah,
think that was probably that was hard. Yeah, but now I think you kind of jump up and
yeah, 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 yeah.
not policed so heavily as it was before, which is cool. And then again, it's not cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's again like what we talked, yeah, with Batty before, like, and nowadays how it's changed the.
Yeah, yeah.
It's also interesting. I talked the other day with Greg Hutchinson, and he
Mhm.
said like you know the difference back then was like Art Blakey could hire unknown young players
Mhm.
and bring them to Europe or whoever, you know, like Alvin,
Yeah.
and just it would be Alvin Jones and the Jazz Machine with youngsters who were not known back then, and nowadays that's
Mhm.
basically impossible, you know,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
Hutch cannot bring younger cats because the
Mhm.
promoters will say no, and that's changed, like in a sense of getting gigs. I think that's my experience also when I talk to people. You know, it's like it's
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's really unfortunate. And
yeah,
again, that's what I feel like a lot. I think now a lot of I think Robert Glasper's generation was that's when it started. They had to form their own bands and create their own situations
yeah,
because of things like that. And not to put any promoter or festival presenter on the
yeah,
spot.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that happens. Yes, that now see that's tougher. Like to bring someone. That's
absolutely.
that's the hard part. I think that's unfortunate. And, but things
But
change.
things
You know,
change. Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh, JD, I wanted to ask you about band leading. I have In Search of and still in CD form from Red Records,
oh, okay.
and that's like what 28 years old or something like that, and it's still it's a man that tune Little Joe, like it's like this ornatish rubato melody, and then you just it's so beautiful, man. How did that record happen?
How did that happen?
Yeah, like you becoming a band leader. I mean, did you start brewing as a band leader before already that, and or how did?
I don't know. I mean, there was an Italian trumpet player I was playing with at the time, Fabio
Oh, Fabio,
Morgera,
yeah.
had a connection with Red Records. Uh, Italian, I don't know if it's still going on. And they offered me a situation for me to be a leader. That tune, Little Joe, I haven't heard. I haven't heard that actually because I spoke to the actual Joe the other day, so it was bizarre you brought that up in a beautiful way. Yeah, that was around that time. I started checking out Ornette Coleman, a big heavy
Mm,
man, good dude, and that was my attempt at that
it's
type of.
beautiful, man. It's very,
Oh,
very.
thank you. I haven't heard that. Maybe I should work on that. That, yeah, yeah, but yeah, that happened. Just again, connections.
Yeah,
Playing with the guy, and I had never heard of Red Records. They gave me an offer to do it. I remember I did the record. I heard it. I threw every copy I had away. I hated it.
really interesting. Wow,
Yeah, I was really disappointed. Um, because when you record, you can hear your flaw. But now I look at it as okay. It's a
uh,
good way to
evolution. Yeah,
do better. And maybe the next time, okay, I'll do it this way. But the first that first one, I got every copy. I just threw every copy away. I was
oh man,
really
interesting.
the failure of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those early records. That Pharaoh's Children as well. I mean, on Chris Cross. That's such. I mean, they're really,
Oh, okay. Thanks, man. Thank
really
you.
cool records. I mean,
Thank you. Thank you.
was band leading easy for you and writing music especially because you've been so prolific, right? Like later on, I think you did like a record a year almost since
Mhm.
2008. So I guess band leading must have been already in the beginning quite easy or not really, or and composing.
Well, I think no, it's band leading. The person with the plan is the person that is the leader. You can have a plan, and the person who has a plan, that's the person who leads. Or you can be on the stage, and maybe the person who's you know, bringing forth the idea,
Yeah,
maybe everyone should focus on that and help that idea come to life. Yeah, I just have an idea. Every year, I usually try to record whatever I'm working on. So that
that's
means I
great. Yeah,
work it out. And it's like painting for me. and try to have a body of work. I mean, really do like maybe the same 3 or 4 albums over and over. You just do them better. That's all. So you say Little Joe, so I'm gonna go back and listen to it. Okay, how could I have done that better? I've heard it before. Not being non-specific or anything, but like, okay, well, I remember it was. I remember from what I remember it was, and I hadn't heard it. It was. I had a group of chords, maybe like 10 chords, because I remember I was trying to get into the uneven
Mm. Yeah.
bar thing, and then I think it was a pedal on it. So now, if I go back and listen to it, I obviously be like, "Oh, it's awful." But if I had done this probably would have came off better. So now I'm gonna do something else and try to improve upon that. You know what I mean? And so that's how that. So you gave me an idea. Like, let me go back. And how could I make that situation better? Like, what would I do presently? What should I have done? Or where is my where am I thinking? Where's my
Mm-hmm.
thinking now on that subject? You know. But I remember the odd bar thing. Because I think once I had found out that Ornette Coleman's "The Shape of Jazz to Come,"
Mm-hmm.
some of those tunes were like actually rhythm changes, and
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
odd bars or bar three, that kind of thing. And I know Branford at that time was kind of dealing with the bar two or bar three, and like I couldn't figure out why it was flipping, but it was still, and then it flipped back. So then I had found out. I think my friend Eric at Three was started playing with Branford, and he said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it puts like a bar three and it flips." And I said, "Oh, and yeah, he got that from Ornette." So well, let me check out Ornette. And I said, "Well, what if I try that?" So that time that's what I had. So now I'm gonna go back and check that out. So, oh, okay, well, we messed up there, but now if I were to reimagine it for myself, I would do this. So yeah, thank you. You gave me another idea.
Oh, you should check it out. Really, I really love the playing. I mean, I was playing today with my daughter, and I still have CDs as well beside the digital chisel, and I put on that CD because we have it, and it was so nice. Like we were playing, I was like, oh man, dude, what's going on there? Like, and I haven't listened to that record for a long time, and today I was like, oh shit, okay. So, and then I realized it's like shit, 28 years old or almost. It's like that's a
The
long time.
weird thing about it, it was supposed to be piano on the whole record. I think Warren Evans was supposed to do it. Shedrick Mitchell played
Yeah,
on the field, and Warren wasn't able to do the other. So I ended up doing it without a piano, and I
without,
was,
yeah.
oh, okay. I feel like I'm less like, because I was also into Wayne Shorter a lot heavier. That's okay. Without the piano, it's less like Wayne Shorter, in my attempt at trying to do that. So then I got more into the trio thing. I thought, okay, let me try the bass and drums, which led me to check it out. Doing that more, obviously, Mr. Rollins, that kind of
Yeah, yeah,
trio.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love your connections. And you had later that group with Greg and Rudy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rudy Royce, that was fun. Yeah. I
That
hope
was
we do another one. We're talking about doing something else or something.
that's almost like a working band, right? I mean, like you guys did so many albums together in a
Yeah, I mean, working, man. I don't know, maybe more in the studio, but
studio
yeah,
band. Yeah, yeah, okay.
we did some paintings together for sure. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they were so. I learned so much from both of those guys. I mean, Greg August is. I think he's a great classical bassist. Very well known in the Afro-Cuban Latin
Yeah,
community. Uh, Obviously, jazz. So a lot of stuff he would share. He shared with me a lot of classical stuff that I'd never checked out. Rudy Royston,
oh,
oh man, that cat knows so much music. So I was learning so much from them just about music, And so it was a joy to do the things that we've done. Yeah. And I look forward to doing something with them again. I would
yeah.
like to do a quartet album with
Mm.
them. That's something I'm doing with a trumpet player. What's the young guy from Baltimore? Uh,
Oh, Paul Geese.
no, no, no,
No.
no. He's a brother from Baltimore. Woody. Not Woody. I
Mm.
just told him. Sorry,
Yeah, I blank
mind,
out also now. Yeah,
my mind is out in the field somewhere. but yeah, like I'm thinking of something with the quartet. I like to do something with a trumpet player and that crew, you know, or
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. But now there's a lot of trio out there, so maybe I might step back and let the trio thing go on. And everybody flips back over, I'll go back to trio.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you usually write?
How do
What
I?
is your, yeah, how has your process of composing? Because
It's,
you've composed so much music. Like, how do you usually compose? Like, do you know the players who's gonna be in the band, or?
yeah, more or less. You know, it's been different the past few years. I was fortunate enough to do there was a documentary I wrote some music for and I was the first man I had to kind of look at the film and score. And for some reason, my mind is still there. So now, you know, I'll go into a studio with a piece of paper or a group of tone rolls and say, okay, you do this, I'll do
Oh yeah,
this, or you know. So it's more sketches now. That's why it was such a joy to kind of just go and play ballads because it was like this is a song. These are the lyrics. You know, these are 32 bars, and I don't have to think about you know what can we do, what can we do,
yeah,
what
yeah,
can
yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the object was just try to play pretty or beautiful and really learn the lyrics. But now it's been more like sketches. You know, like this last thing I did. This was weird. I mean, it was weird for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure people got all kind of things. I was listening to a lot of music from Mali, and obviously
Mm.
Ganawa music, um, and I looked at the piano and I took all of the black notes on the piano and I made more black notes. And I did because I never worked with the Gimbre, so I didn't know if I could, you know, do the just structures. I
Yeah, of
really,
course. Yeah.
but I had to keep it open because I hadn't had an experience of playing with that instrument. And the goal was, okay, so I wrote, you'd be surprised how many melodies you can write with just the black note. You know, it blew my mind actually. And I wrote about 10 melodies.
Ooh.
And the idea was, okay, we can play them this way or we can play them that way, you know, or just little brief themes, you know, or we'll change the tonality, which gives it a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And I went into the studio. Also, I took a practice cycle. I worked on Steve Lacy called it the Magic Wheel. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Yeah, he has a practice cycle he does. Was and I brought that in. I told the pianist to just play the cycle. So I maybe gave him a chord, or he came up with a chord. I said, okay, I like that chord. Play that chord through the cycle. Don't go clockwise. Go counterclockwise.
Okay.
So we were recording like that, you know. And maybe I would put like A, B, C, D. I said, okay, now take A and take D and put that together and play it in this key. And I'll play that melody. And then you play the cycle and you start the cycle from here. We play it clockwise and
That's right.
counterclockwise. And it felt like it worked, you know, and it was a lot of fun. So things like that, which is very stressful before you get in the studio because it isn't definite.
Yeah.
You know, so you kind of, what did Hemingway say? Write drunk but edit sober, you know, situation like that, you know. But it was so much fun, and it allowed for the unknown to happen in the sense of that type of instrument and some structure, you know. But yeah, you know, and then one time I did a record called Barracoon. I came to the studio with a sheet of paper, you know. It was like we played the melody. Man, we recorded that. You know, I recorded in the studio. I do a lot of takes. We'll play the whole album down, just
Mm.
you know, different versions. Um, we played those melodies probably like 100 times, you know, and it were like 4 bar structures, eight, you know, 8 bars, or taking this and that and piecing it together. So it's been like that. I did one, the before the ballad album, I came in with some tone rolls,
Yeah.
gave them that, play this tone roll, retrograde, and or sometimes I said, okay, you play. We played two Duke Ellington tunes, low key. I played the changes to in my solitude, and maybe Greg played Round Midnight, and this guy played I Hear Rhapsody. Well, it was no, we were doing things like that, which is not a big deal, but it was like going into the studio, and I'm sure the guys was looking like, all right, what the hell, go and listen back, okay, this worked, this didn't, we'll
Yeah.
use this, we'll use this. But that's stressful as hell, man. So that's why going and playing the ballads it was a lot of fun because I didn't have to, do crazy things like that. At least crazy for me.
Oh, but it's great. That's how you provoke your creativity, right? That just,
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's a,
sitting down and writing a song. The last time I did that was on the recording was Toys Die Dreaming.
oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Where it was like, all right, this is structure. And even that was someone wrote some tunes. I took the changes, like the changes, and put another counterfact in it. Or I took four bars of the changes of a Duke Ellington tune and put another tune on top. But it's been a while where I sat down. It's been a while where it's been like, okay,
To
I'm writing.
actually, okay, interesting.
It's been more like I come in with a notebook. It still
Yeah.
looks crazy as hell. Thankfully, the musicians are creative enough to pull it together.
Yeah. I mean, if you have good players, then it's, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sometimes it's
yeah,
better not to complicate. It's just like play, and
yeah.
yeah,
I don't believe in complicated. I mean, I haven't, I like to play things where we all sound good, where
yeah,
it's more of the being creative or getting loose together.
yeah.
That's the goal. But yeah, I told myself I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write a tune. But no, it's been just ideas lately. For about about 4 years now, I think. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if
It's
it works, that's it, right? If the end result works, that's
I don't know if it works. I mean, that's just what it is.
yeah,
I ran out of tunes. I won't say ran out of tunes. I did a solo recording called Queen City. That was the
yeah.
last time that I had a book of tunes. And after that it's been. But I was scared for a while. I was like, okay, can I write a song anymore? You know. Anyway, I tried this last time, and still I went in there with 5 or 6 black notes and said, okay, let's make an album. I was so embarrassed, man. I was like, man, because I had never met these musicians before. I was like, man, these cats gonna think I'm a phony. And if I showed you the notebook, man, you'd be like, what? I was so nervous, man. I was talking to my manager. I was telling her, I said, oh, man, they gonna think I'm a fake. So I was apologizing before I even put the paper down, man. It's like they looked at it like it wasn't even stems on a note. It was like, okay, you play, but it worked out. I had a lot of fun.
Oh man. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's okay. I mean, that's good in a way. It's like sometimes it's like when I write a tune sometimes,
Mhm.
and it's like I don't know a melody, or if I write a riff kind of 7/4, and then I'm again like, oh shit, it's again something in 7/4.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
mean, do I
it's
need
yeah.
it's like, do I need another 7/4 like ding gong ding gong do do da da da? It's like, okay.
Yeah,
I've done
yeah.
like 20 of those already, or kind of it's like
Mhm.
and yeah, it's nice just to have the black notes, whatever, and just play. Maybe
Yeah,
it's more
man,
creative in a
I
sense.
was
I don't know.
so, bro, I was so mad at myself. I was like, yo, this is the only idea I got, but it made who was I listening to? Ali Fakatori.
Oh yeah, sure.
I've been like, oh my God, I was listening to him so much. And I was like, okay, he could do a phrase on the recording. I said, let me write this, let me see what he's doing. And it's okay. I can get to this like a thumb piano vibe with all the black notes. So I went that route. Um, you know, I have to say, I have, I'm hearing things differently. Like when I listen to record, meaning when I listen to music as a listener, I've been making a point to go and check out some of our comrades, listen like as a fan, you know. I've listened to people, Melissa Aldana, Walter Smith new recording. I think Mark has a new recording.
Yeah,
And just people, anybody that's come up. I like Kevin Son. He's a great sax. I
he's
really
really great. Yeah,
James, Brandon Lewis, Emmanuel, and just listening as a fan. You know, I want to just be a fan. You know, and really just check it out. Sit down through the whole thing and listen like I used to. And or I'll listen to so-called popular music, or even the AI music. I've been listening to that to see what the hell is coming and what the big, you know. And I I I I have this thing. I'm not sure what it is where I don't want to know what's coming. Not to say any of our comrades are doing that or anything like that, but I just don't want to know what's coming. It's not that I want to be surprised. I just don't want to see around a corner.
mm, yeah,
You
yeah,
ever look at a movie and know how the movie's gonna end? I hate that shit.
yeah. It's terrible. Yeah, I don't watch it. I'm like, yeah, or it's like a basketball game.
Yeah,
If I know the result, sometimes I will not watch it even back because it's like, yeah,
yeah. I don't want to
it's
know how it's gonna end. And I think I was going into the studio like that, which is dangerous, you know, because you kind of, in a sense of, I admire our peers, the technical facility, and I marvel at how they're able to do that. You know, a couple of them will have to call, hey man, what are you doing? Hey,
yeah,
but when I pick up the horn in my mouth, if I go into the studio, with the exception of the ballad, then I don't want to know how it's going to turn out.
mm,
I don't want to know. I don't want to know how. I don't want to see around a corner. I want to. I want to. I want to get lost. Maybe it's not get lost in a theatrical way
yeah,
in terms of plan, but in my mind or my feeling, I want to get lost. And I there's a part of me that wants to get away from that where I'm like, no, I want to know what the hell, you know. But then there's another part that's like, no, man, you really like to get lost. But look, if somebody asks me where do you live, I always say I live here, because I might be in Morocco or London or Paris, and right now I'm in the South. And for the past few years, I've been kind of moving in the world in an interesting way, a way that I never thought I would. But it's been amazing, not
mm,
knowing what is really going to happen, but I know I'm gonna be fine. You know what I mean? And there's part of me that loves that and plan, but then there's another part of me like, damn, man, I wanna do
yeah,
something.
yeah, yep. I hear you.
I'm in the tug of war. So I've been listening to our peers and studying them. Kevin Son, I really did.
He's really good. Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, yeah, Kevin is bad, man. Or James, all the people I mentioned, I've been really I'm in, they are I'm inspired by what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it, or if that's where I'm supposed to go. But as a fan, I dig it and I respect the structure and whatnot, And I want to give myself to a structure,
Mm,
You
interesting.
Like, so that's the goal. Anyway, I
Mm.
went off on a plan.
No, no, no. Come on. It's beautiful. But that's your path. You've done so much. You've done like 20 albums, more than 20 albums, I think, even as a leader or something like that. I don't know. It's like, so you've done a lot different stuff. So it's good.
I can't tell you how that happened, or, you know, yeah.
It's a great thing. Yeah.
But there's a couple I did, a couple of them that's like, okay, maybe I could do this thing.
Oh, you're too humble.
No, I'm being honest. A couple
Yeah.
of them, I'm like, maybe I can do it. Maybe, but fortunate enough, I get a chance to do it. I hate to use the word lucky, but I'm blessed or luck or whatever. university, and
Yeah.
people allow me to sound bad or sound okay. I can't think of anything else to do.
Yeah, exactly. No, no, come on. But beautiful, man. I'm looking forward to the new record, by the way. Really
Oh,
curious.
thanks.
Now, after you told me this, I'll be like paying attention.
Say it again.
Now, after what you told me now, I'll be paying attention. Like, okay.
No, it was really the part about the cycle part, like that really was amazing. In a sense, it was a little discovery for me because if you go in with a cycle, and you tell the cat like, "Yo, you can move around, go that way," and I was playing, I was like, "Yo, this might work." It was free, but it wasn't free.
Yeah.
So it was. Yeah, it was nice to just meet new people, great musicians from Europe, from Cuba, from Morocco, and learn more about the Gnawa music from the player that we had there, and the pianist who's from Colombia, and then to hear about how they got into music or what rhythms, what could we do, where could we all meet,
Yeah.
and make something. We only got a couple of days to do it, and we got 6 black notes. How we gonna make this shit work?
That's a challenge.
The experience was, I think it was one of the best recording experiences I've ever had.
Beautiful.
It was nice, man. So I hope the music reflects that. If it doesn't, that's okay, because I made some new friends and I met some great. There was a lot of poets in the room. They were all poets. I think there was a person who's been in a room full of poets that I never knew. So it was cool. So I'm good. I'm good with that. Maybe it was just about the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want people to hear it. I hope people. But it doesn't matter. I enjoyed the vibes.
Yeah. That's important. That's the most important, actually. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, are you still gonna play some gigs in Europe this year? I mean, where can people see you? What's your plans for this year, for gigging wise or touring wise, or?
Yeah, I'm doing some stuff in Spain. I'm working with the new booking agency, Live on Tour, and they're doing some stuff for me. A great new organization, and I'm putting my trust in them, and we're working on some things. Mostly, maybe a few trio situations in Spain, but I think they're starting to work on some stuff for this new album. And because Europe has its own universe now with the European network, and
Yep.
obviously America is doing what it does. So it's again, like you mentioned, what Gregory said about the idea of bringing other newer people in is harder. So now you have to navigate it a different way, and you have to meet people or deal with organizations that believe in you.
Yep.
Work. So I think the past few years I've kind of laid low in terms of the gigging thing, and I'm interested in getting back out there and being in the workforce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man.
You'll see me. Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. JD,
All right. I
man,
hope this was cool. Yeah.
thanks for finding the time. That's so nice to hear you talk about these things. Beautiful.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for inviting me to speak a bit. I appreciate it. And
Yeah.
great show. I've been viewing it. And, got some really cool guests on there. I'm happy, honored to be a part of that.
Oh, I'm so happy you responded and shared some of
Oh,
your thoughts. So beautiful.
oh, yeah. I got to check out the Cindy Blackman one. She was
I'll send you a link, actually. I'll send you a link.
she was one of the ones that one of the leaders who really pushed me to write. He gave me.
Ah, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think any young person that wants to get the band experience just from someone who's gonna Betty Carter, Cindy Blackman.
Mm.
I think they were one of my biggest influences in terms of just how to be a leader, how to lead a band. Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So please send me the link.
I will. Yeah, I love that Works on Canvas, man. That's such a good record.
Man, that was hey man, you know what?
It's a really
That
good record.
right there taught me that you could take a. I think that's the ones where we did some standards on it.
Yeah, you did like Green Dolphin Street, and it's like burning. It's like, whew.
Yeah. So she had this, and the funny thing is, I noticed when I saw Ahmad Jamal was doing this, but I experienced this with Cindy. Was man, first of all, when you did a rehearsal with her, we would play a song maybe 100 times, and we
Mm,
would try to find different ways on how to play it. That was so valuable. But sometimes we would take pieces of a standard and like just deal with that section. So it, you know, in terms of learning how to be creative in terms of writing and how to have a connect with the band, she was the one that was, man, that was a university unto itself. Man, with her, like really how to present the music, what could you extract from the music, how
mm.
many ways can you play one song? Oh man, that was a great situation. Yeah, yeah. So if you do, I have to see this video because I still learn from her. She's a great leader. And any young person, I think they should go out their way to try to get that gig or to play in her band because she has a lot. I don't think she gets enough credit for being a great leader.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
great,
I
yeah,
mean, people know her for playing with, Carlos and Lenny Kravitz.
yeah,
She's so much way. I mean, I basically knew her just for her jazz stuff, right? Then I was like, oh shit, she's the drummer with Lenny.
yeah. We used to do the drum clinic sometimes, and it would be a lot of people from that world.
Yeah,
But even within that, man, she's a master, you know.
yeah.
And I met Mr. Max Roach through her. Like sometimes Mr. Roach would come to the gigs, and yeah, man, she's a great leader, man. I learned so much from her and Betty Carter and a few other people. But yeah, but that one in particular, that situation was very valuable, you know.
So good to
Yeah,
hear. Yeah.
brother. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
Oh man,